Hello YouTube, how you guys doing today? Thanks for stopping by, being a passenger on the P Reacts Daily Train. I appreciate everybody that's been coming by and helping out with the channel. Please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out, especially since I'm a newer channel. Also, it helps with the algorithm. Don't forget, this is not a substitute for the original content, so go over to the original artist, watch it on their channel, give them a like, show them some love. Also, we don't redistribute any of the content, so we're following all the copyright rules. My name is P, and we'll get started on this video as soon as we see our disclaimer. Alrighty, today's video, we have some of the warning, and this is an interview they did. It's a request from a subscriber, and it's for the Zach Sang Show. So we're going to watch this today and see how this goes. Let's see how long this is. Oh, geez, 47 minutes. So this is going to be broken up probably into 3 sections. So we'll do 1/3 today, the middle tomorrow, and 1/3 the next day. Yeah, this is a long one. So I try to keep everything to 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to watch 1/3 of it today. So we'll go to about 15 minutes. 15 and a half, somewhere in that general area. But yeah, let's get started on this and check it out.
Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan.
Yo.
We welcome to the studio for the first time ever. Say hello to the warning.
Yay!
Hello.
So,
Hi.
obvious question. What are you warning us of?
Oh my
Ooh.
god. Of our music. We're here. I'm kidding. No, I don't know. I mean, we usually try to make up a story for the name, but really we were children when we picked it. So it's just like, ooh, warning. But yes, we're warning the music industry that we're
here.
rocking. We're here.
We're here.
Like, you have been doing this for a very long time. Can you explain just this starts kind of with the video game Rock Band, but there has to be a moment where you go, we should do this for real, right?
Right.
Yes. So we're sisters, and we grew up in a very musical household. Our parents love music, so we started playing the piano when we were very young. But it wasn't until our parents got us a video game, the Rock Band, that we loved playing it. I loved watching my sisters play all the time. Danny,
like 3.
I was like 3,
Yes.
and Danny always picked up the guitar. And eventually, she played the guitar. The same with drums, and then after that, I started playing the bass a few years later.
I was looking at the mic and stuff because I'm getting like a echo feedback with this. I don't know if it's just the video or what, because this is like my 6th video today and I haven't had that. So I'm kind of curious why it's almost like I'm getting a double talk echo. But yeah, let's get back to it though. Let's just check it out.
And it was until I started playing that we were like, oh, we can play together. So we started making covers of our favorite songs and uploading them to YouTube. And we recorded the Enter Sandman one, and it went viral. And from there on, we started writing our own music. And it was until we started writing our own music that we were like, we really love doing this. And
It made sense.
And it was like a very gradual change. But after that, we didn't stop. And
That was 10 years ago.
oh, that's true.
So when you put it in that context, it's just crazy that we were like, oh yeah, we're going to be a band now. Awesome.
Because it did just happen almost like that. But why'd you want to learn the bass?
So we used to watch concerts all the time when we were a family, and I knew the other instruments. I knew the drums, the guitar, the piano, and I just saw this weird instrument that I didn't know of, and it just sounded so cool. And I was like, oh, I want to play that instrument, and that's how I ended up playing the bass.
Can you explain the role of a bass in a band? Because it has a very important one, right?
Yes. A lot of people are like, oh, the guitar player that couldn't play the guitar well, so we put them on the bass. But no, the bass is the drums and the bass are the foundation of a band. I feel like if my role as a bass player, if I'm not tight with Pau is playing, I feel like it all it falls apart.
It's the soul
for
of
me,
the band.
For me, it's
for sure.
a big part of it. Not just because I'm the bass player, but it is my favorite instrument.
I'm
I feel
the
like
skeleton. You're like the blood.
Oh,
and
I love
Danny's
that.
like the skin, if that makes any sense. I feel like that's
Yeah,
how
a lot of people
we
don't
move.
notice the bass, but I feel like it's the most important part
No,
of
for sure.
the
Yes, I agree.
band.
For sure.
Can you explain to me though, like how this ends up becoming this hard? Like, how would you describe the type of rock you make?
I think we started describing it as hard rock, but I
think when we started calling it like that because people would call us like the princess of metal. Like they're like hard, heavy
hitting,
rock girls. But honestly, I think we just play rock and everything that falls under that. We vary a lot in styles within our albums, but it's usually hard rock. It's leaning towards that.
The
but we give
energy
ourselves
of rock is there.
like the liberty.
Yeah, so I see what they're saying though, because like music has changed over time. Back in the like in the 50s, rock was called rock, and it was kind of a mix of rock and blues, like with Elvis. Then in the 60s, you had like the hard rock groups come along, like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And they came along with that really hard sound. So the 60s and 70s, there was rock, there was soft rock, which was the slow mellow stuff. You had the medium, which was like rock, and then you had hard rock, which was like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and all that hard hitting stuff. But all of it's rock. So if you say it's rock, it's rock. It's just the section of rock that, or category of rock it falls under, like the area. And then like in the 80s, metal was invented. It's like all the hard rock people went to metal with all those crazy guitars and riffs and all that craziness and the big hair and all that kind of thing. And then hard rock was still the kind of the same like as Black Sabbath, but then metal was like the hard rock with the more of the guitar playing and the higher pitch guitar and more guitar riffs. And so that invented metal because it wasn't really the same. You had like the Black Sabbath, then you had like the Metallica or Guns N' Roses that had more of the high pitch guitar. So since it was more of that higher guitar, then they had to have a different name. So that's where metal came along. So when you hear them, me with my age, I listen to 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, thousands, now 2010s, 2020s. If you look at all those musics, theirs falls into the hard rock category. And it might vary a little less into rock and a little more into metal, but it's mainly in the sense of hard rock, if that makes any sense.
Hard rock. It's leaning towards that.
The
but we give
energy
ourselves
of rock is there.
like the liberty to really just explore every subgenre under rock. But if you were to book us for a festival, it would be like a hard rock festival, probably.
So why did hard rock become the way and the place and the genre for you to just let your life and frustrations out in song?
Definitely, because we had so many frustrations we had to let out.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're so young, a lot going on in Mexico. I understand.
I know. No, I think that was the rock band's fault for sure. I think we just saw the video game and all the concerts and the live energy that it had, that it just called to us when we were writing our first few songs. That's what immediately
I mean, I don't think we really
out.
thought about it. We were just writing music and it came out like that. It's not like we had this strategy like, actually, we're going to be a rock band and we're eventually going to become like a hard rock band, because, I mean, it's just like we started writing music. It was born like that. Our parents listened to rock music. We constantly played it on the video game. Yeah. So it was just a very natural process.
And I keep remembering that Ale was like 10 or 9.
I was
I was
to me.
extremely young.
Yes.
I just went with it.
It was
Yeah.
flow.
Yeah.
No, it's just really interesting because not every day, like we talk to a lot of like pop musicians, a lot of folk artists, a lot of singer-songwriters, but very rarely do we find like younger rock groups. Like,
Yes, I got that.
yeah, like the icons come in, but like it's very different to find that of a next generation. Do you know why rock music is not as widely created as it once was?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like mainstream right now, what you really see, it's usually pop music, it's rap music, folk music is also like a big thing sometimes. Especially like in Mexico, rock is definitely not at like the forefront of what would
Totally.
be called mainstream music, but there is a very intense rock culture in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many fans. And I feel that everyone, it doesn't matter if you actively listen to rock music or not, but everyone knows the hits. Everyone knows the genre, knows like the culture behind it. It is only a matter of time, in my humble opinion, till it starts bleeding into mainstream a bit more. Like you see artists like Olivia Rodrigo or like Willow
totally.
who start experimenting with like pop rock or alternative rock. And I feel like it's just a matter of time until people our age really start gravitating toward it. Cause I mean, when you're young, you have your frustrations, you're feeling things for the first time or whatever. And rock music is a very big outlet for that, I feel.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, I would say rock has been mainstream for several years. In my opinion, from what I've seen and from what I know and grew up with, rock has been like the number one genre from everywhere. Or at least in the United States it has, because it was always rock, and then most of the top 40 stations dominated the rock songs on the top 40. Now, I mean, it may not be hard rock, but you had the soft rock, the middle rock, and the hard rock all in the top 40. So rock has been the dominator. And then, of course, you had country as a close second for many, many years also, ever since I can remember. 60s, 70s, well, 70s. I kind of remember the country from the 70s when it was country and western. Oh my gosh, I hate that music. Oh. Country nowadays is more like rock. Yeah, because, yeah, that's interesting in itself. But yeah, let's get back to this.
hopefully that starts to change.
So I want to get into the songs that you have an album on the way, and I want to talk about, like, you have 3 albums out already, right?
Yep.
Oh my
This
God,
is the
yes.
4th one.
Yeah, a lot of music.
Yeah.
I want to understand like what fuels all those songs, but whose idea was it to cover Into the Sandman to begin with?
Into the
Oh.
Sandman.
No, sorry, what?
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman. I'm so sorry. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
No worries. We should sing it like that
Yeah,
from
we're
now
going
on.
into
Into
It
the
doesn't hit the same. No.
Oh yeah, no. But back in 2014, I think we just heard the songs that were kind of like challenging to us. We were like, ooh, that sounds like
our parents would listen to this music,
Yeah.
and we were like, what song would be fun or challenging to play together? So like for the guitar, it was like, oh,
The
we're gonna play
solo.
like Sweet Child of Mine, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna do Enter Sandman, stuff like that. Like we were just constantly changing between classics. I don't know why Enter Sandman was the one like
Yeah.
blew
that
up.
blew up.
It
Yeah.
was just all of a sudden we were like viral, which is really weird when you're young. Like you were 9, 10.
I was 10, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I was 13.
Yeah.
You were 15. And you don't really realize what's going on when you're at that age. It's just like, oh my God, okay, we have interviews now, fun. But it is so crazy to think that we had such a full circle moment with Enter Sandman. It started our careers. Then, it's not last year. Was it 2 years
No.
ago?
2021.
Oh my God, okay. In 2021, Metallica invited us to be a part of their Blacklist album, which is like the 30th anniversary of the Black Album. And we did a cover of Enter Sandman, like our version with Alessia Cara. That was insane for us to like just really like have a moment of something that really launched our careers, and to have been a part of Metallica's album with our own version.
Yeah.
It was just
And getting
amazing.
the thumbs up from
Yes,
them as
they were
well.
like,
'Cause
we
they were
like it.
That's cool.
Thank you.
We're like,
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's-
it was amazing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm curious about, because they did the Enter Sandman the original way at first, but then they did the one with Alyssa Cara, and that version you do very rarely even hear anymore. And then now they have their newest version of it, which is kind of really mixed up and different. So, what I guess my question is what was the purpose of doing the one with Alyssa Cara? Because that one just was there, then it was gone, and you never hear it anymore. And And it's like, I just don't know why why bring another person into it. It's like, it's kind of an odd situation to me. So it's kind of a little bit confusing how they got now 3 versions of the song, and the one in the middle doesn't make any sense compared to the other 2. So
Yeah. How did Alessia get involved in that song?
Oh, right. So I think like our management team kind of like works with her too. So they kind of like put us together in this project. And
yeah, they
it
invited
worked
Alessia,
so
and
well.
Alessia wasn't sure if she wanted to do it by herself. And like we had history with Enter Sandman, we are a rock band.
Yeah.
But it was so different because it was our first time doing a collaboration of any type,
kind.
and now we were gonna cover such an iconic song that is Enter Sandman, and like put our style in it, Alessia's style in it. We had a week to do the version, record the version, mix it, and master it. Alessia was in Canada, we were in Mexico.
It was still pandemic-y times.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
But it was really cool.
okay, they kind of answered my question there. So basically, the record company had both artists, since they were both thinking about doing the song, and redoing the Warning was thinking about redoing the song. Alicia Cara was gonna do the song too. So it's like, okay, let's just throw them together. So it was kind of a career booster for both artists to a sense. So that now I kind of understand it. So I wonder if maybe they're playing the Alyssa Cara version in Canada, and then the U.S. plays the Warnings version, maybe, is what I'm thinking.
How do you make music today? Does it start with you just jamming? Does it start with a story you want to tell? What is the process like?
You know, I feel like it depends on the era. This time around for this new album, it was in between touring. We were just like on the road all the time, whatever we would like kind of like grasp on. We would just kind of like Pau had her MIDI keyboard on
Oh
tour.
my God, yes.
She would just kind of like demo stuff. But usually our slower writing process is Pau on the piano. It's funny to think that our rock songs start as piano ballads,
Yes,
but they
most of them.
usually do.
But I feel like today we don't have the luxury of like having the time to sit down and jam and just like work it out little by little. For this album, it was like we had writing sessions. Like we would sit down and be like, we have to write a song today. So we would sit down and write with other people, which was actually really fun. We had never done that before. We would write with other people, make a song per day. We would like 2-week writing sessions. We would write a song each day and then record them, because we were touring for 2 months, then coming back a week, writing, pre-producing, recording, and then leaving again for another tour.
Okay, so do you take the song that you write on like a guitar or piano, and then do you put it to instruments? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, we just kind of like get together in a room and figure out how to like rockify it. Just kind of
Rockify.
play it together.
basically.
Yeah, no, for sure.
so how long after a song is written, then do you go back and like turn it into a rock song?
It
no,
really depends
it gets
on
done
the
like
cycle.
in the moment.
I mean,
Yeah, like a day. Like maybe sometimes even we do like pre-pro, and on pre-pro we would figure out like
everything
what's
else.
best for the song and like arrange
parts.
all the instruments. Yeah.
Do you have people writing in these sessions with the intention of making a rock song, or with the intention of making a good song?
Oh,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I
I think
actually don't know. I feel
I
like
feel like it depends on
I
the
feel
people
like
we
that's
were
a
writing
question,
with. Yeah.
like for them, because we usually are. I feel like the common goal is to write a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what. Obviously, we gravitate towards rock, and it's music for us, and we're writing it as well. So like we pull the tracks like that way. But I feel, especially like when we're top lining,
Yeah.
sometimes the melodies are like pure pop, and you're like, oh my god, like we have such different influences, but like at the end of the day, we can put it in the rock genre, and it feels like perfect. It's just a perfect mix of it. But
You know, like, what makes a rock song? Is it the lyrics, or is it the production and the
I feel
instruments?
like it's the
It's a
production.
production.
the production
yeah.
for
Yes.
sure.
I mean, have
The
you ever
distorted
listened to
guitars.
like the pop goes punk? Like it's that thing. Like you could just, if you add a distortion to it, people would probably consider it rock. Most of the time.
But is that really rock?
I feel like rock is kind of like the feeling more than anything.
I feel
You
like
know,
rock
it's
purists would be like, actually, that's not it. But I feel like for us, it really is about an attitude and a.
Yes.
It's usually distortion on the guitar and
for
like.
sure. And
real
I feel
gems
like
sometimes.
the essence of rock is just kind of like breaking rules, just like ignoring boundaries, just kind of like going against the current in general. Exploring, for sure.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS to go subwoof acoustic massage way to Beyonce. Speaking Spanish in your records and speaking English, because some songs purely English, some songs Spanish, some a little bit of both. Is there strategy there?
Strategy? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I feel like we
Is
should.
it conscious, like the decision you're making of what language to speak?
Yes. That is very when we started writing, it was always in English. Like we didn't have songs in Spanish. We only have 3 songs in Spanish out of our 3 albums, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it was only until 2019 when we released our first song in Spanish. We were born and raised in Mexico. We still live in Mexico, and we don't talk English like
in a day-to-day.
In a day-to-day.
Nope.
I don't communicate with my sisters with English. But for some reason, writing lyrics, like we grew up with rock that was in English. So when we started writing, it just came out like that. Because writing in Spanish is
so
really
hard.
It's a hard language to write in, especially like phonetically. It's really different. The words are longer. It's just like finding the correct phrasing and making everything fit. And like usually in choruses, you try to put like your main idea into the chorus and have like that speak for itself. But in Spanish, you have to fit so many words in to have that idea speak for itself.
Yeah.
So, but we love writing in Spanish. There is something so special about sharing your culture and your language and such a big part of your life in your music like that. Like we just came back from a tour in Europe and we were like in the Czech Republic where people don't speak English nor Spanish. And we were playing our Spanish songs and people were screaming them back at us. And it's like, it's insane that music can connect us in that way. Like it's pretty crazy that we're able to do that with what we do.
Do you credit the rock genre for that? Because it is a really global genre of music that has like really diehard purist fans that like will get behind you if you meet their criteria.
The rock community in general, they're so passionate, and I feel like they're one of the most like loyal people that you'll ever find. They're just like one big family.
Yeah, like once
no
they're
matter
fans,
where they're from,
they're like fans. Like they stay.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to think like we've been a band for 10 years. And sometimes I see fans that they like followed us since like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't believe that like these people have literally seen us grow up, not only like as people, but like musically, and they've seen that whole journey,
whole
and they've
careers.
supported us throughout the whole journey. So rock does that to you. It's really nice.
So what story are you telling with this next one? Keep Me Fed.
Keep Me Fed.
So Keep Me Fed is about the need we all have to be constantly fed something, whether it be entertainment or like we're all kind of like not staying still. Like being bored is kind of like not an option anymore. It's everything is just going. It's like overstimulation, overconsumption, and that's what we kind of wanted to talk about in this
and
overarching.
It's really what we were living this whole past year. We've been touring nonstop for the past few years. We've done like 175 shows over the past 2 years, and it's been just like one after the other. And it's like we as artists, how we continue to feed like our fans, people who follow us, but also how we feed on other like people's art and ideas, and how it's just like this cycle. And I feel like it's the first album where we really let go a little bit and we're a bit more personal about what we were talking about, what we were living.
Yeah.
And we just like really, I feel like it's a little time capsule of like the craziness that has been like the past few years. Yes.
So where were you writing from before?
Okay, so we're going to cut it off right there. Tomorrow we'll back up. We'll start a little bit back. So that way there's a little overlap. And yeah, so thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And we have a merch store now, so the link's in the description. There's also a donation link if you want to help out the channel. You beautiful people have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.